Personalization is actually starting to be overinflated. And so what I mean by that is I think a lot of people say, I need to personalize. Then they go look up what school you went to. I went to UGA. They say, go dogs. And then they spin it into being, well, our number one solution does this. And then you're like, what's going on? So we really need to focus on how do you actually contextualize the personalization to the people you reach out to. Two examples of that is one, when you're on LinkedIn, don't just look at their college, look at their about section, look at something they posted, look at their experience and say, hey, recently saw that you launched a new onboarding program. How exactly did you go about that? Most people aren't going to ask that question, and that sparks a conversation. Even when you're in the sales cycle, one of the things that you need to be saying every single time, and I've learned this as a seller, is you need to say, hey, based on what I heard or what you just said earlier. If you can't say that, then you aren't adding contextual personalization to the deal. I love doing videos as well in terms of follow-up, but really think about if you cannot say, hey, based on what I heard here today, then you're just gonna have a generic follow-up goes in the trash can, and then you're not gonna be able to close the deal like you want to. Here are three ways that you can drive momentum in your sales cycle and not lose the prospect in the wind. So the first thing is that every time that you are at the end of your call, you typically want to bookmark like 7 minutes. You want to say, hey, typically the next steps are X, Y, and Z. Because when you say typically, that means that you've been there before. That means that you are a leader and they're going to follow you in that next process. If you don't, they may not know what that is because you sell more than they buy. Number two is that you want to, on LinkedIn, message the people that you just connected with. So if you had a meeting with 5 people, I always like to connect with all those people and send them a quick 10-second video saying, hey, thanks so much for showing up on the call today. I know in a group setting, you may not want to ask a question. What questions do you directly have for me so I can answer them here? That works out really well. And then 3 is I always send a follow-up email after every single call. And I like to schedule my meetings on the call as well if I can. But I always tell people the summary email is going to come like 24 hours. And for them to respond to that to make sure we're on the same page. The people who respond to that then agree to the accountability of what you discuss. And now you can drive momentum based on what they agreed to moving forward.